The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Sean Smoke, Kevin Price, and Robbie Ross. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by head writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing?
Good, Sean. Good to be with you talking high school sports again tonight.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, Kevin, but we're talking a little bit more about high school football here, or should we say the transition from high school football to college football. This past Wednesday, the 1st of February, was the I guess 2 Wednesdays ago was the second signing day. Now that the NCAA has 2 signing days, this is the second signing day, and this is where a lot of your kids, go to smaller schools. They're still going on to play college football, but it's not your big D1 SEC, schools that are recruiting them. There are some of that signing that's going on, but it pales in comparison to what goes on in December. This time of the year, it's it's the smaller schools that are getting their kids and getting ready to make their rosters for the fall.
That's right. Yeah. The February signing date used to be the big one. I mean, right. Most of the Power 5 kids, the major college kids, even then were already committed. It was just a matter of them actually signing on the dotted line. Of course, you always had those last minute flips, at the midnight hour going from one school to the other. That's what kind of created the drama. And then also, there were maybe sometimes still a few big gets out there that we're going to wait till signing day to announce. But even a lot of times you kind of had the crystal ball, figured out where they might be going. But ever since that early signing period, which is in December now, has really changed things. Most of those major college guys, those Power 5 guys are already, of course, committed and they signed in. So, they get the attention then. You can have some other ones, at some of these smaller schools, particularly the smaller D1s sign. But, I think that's the beauty now of this signing day, Sean. Those Power 5 guys, those major college prospects, get their moment in the spotlight. A lot of times in that December signing period, like you said, now there's still a few floating around out there that were waiting till this period for one reason or another. So there are still those guys, but largely it's the smaller guys, the guys going to D2 schools, junior colleges, NAIA schools, just outside of the D1 level that are signing now. So they get more of the spotlight, which they used to maybe be overshadowed by some of the the bigger blue chip prospects, if you will. So it's kind of cool from that standpoint to see these kids get their moment in the spotlight too, because as you know, Sean, a lot of good football, particularly in the Southeast, played outside the Power Five and the major D1s, and a lot of good football players. Even though you don't go D1, we know from here in Southeast Georgia, still a lot of good guys that we're about to talk about right here.
Exactly. And with the transfer portal, which we won't get into right now, everything's changed as far as recruiting goes. So, we're going to start off with Appleton County. We're going to go alphabetically here. Appleton D2 school. A double-A classification school, made a deep run in the state playoffs. I believe they made it all the way to the semis this year. But we're going to start off with them. Jalen Johnson's inked to go play at the University of South Florida. So there's another one of those big, Power 5 schools. Dawson Griffiths is going to go to Wingate University. Jacob Gardner is going to go play at Presbyterian College. Will Solomon's going to go play at Berry College. I guess that's Chance Smith at Middle Tennessee State, and then Marcus Neesmith, Independence Community College. So a lot of good signees there from the Appleton County Pirates. Going to move on and play their ball at the next level.
Yeah, and Appleton's certainly been one of the premier programs, even though they're Class AA. Like you said, of course, we're AAA until this year. We know they have a lot of good football players there, and that's one of the spots, here in South Georgia that I'm sure all the recruiters come through. They know their history. They know their tradition. They know they're not winning with the guys that can barely get out there and stand up on their own 2 feet. So they go to the Baxley and see what they have, and you see they pulled out a pretty good crop here.
Yeah. Jalen Johnson, one of those running backs that a lot of people had on their list early on, winds up going to the University of South Florida there for the Appleton County Pirates. So it'll be interesting to follow along with his career. But we're going to step all the way up, Kevin, now to 6A as we go check out the Brunswick High Pirates. Coach Garrett Grady and his inaugural season over there goes 10-0 in the regular season, gets put out in the first round draw on a really tough draw there for a first round there. I believe it was Houston County that they got in the first round, but nonetheless had an excellent football team. A lot of those guys are going to go on and show their talents at the next level. They've already had 3 that signed in December. You had Merriweather going to Georgia, Jaden Drayton going to Penn, and Keyshawn Thomas going to Wake Forest. But then we jump into this signing period. They had another 6 guys that signed. Kevin Thomas going to go to Shorter. Lionel Twitty going to go to Shorter with Kevin Thomas. Ian Johnson at University of West Georgia. I believe Quan Gibson's going to Fort Valley State University. Quan Johnson, Carthage College, and then Josh Walker going to go to Virginia State. So another good group of Pirates there, Kevin, going to go play at the next level.
This is maybe our Pirate segment, at least
exactly.
At the top, but we talked about the Baxley Bandits, and now we'll talk about the Brunswick High School Pirates. But you mentioned that another undefeated regular season, another region championship for the Pirates, and unfortunately that tough first round loss. But obviously a lot of good players on this team in the senior class and some underclassmen that will get their moment in the sun, next year. Still some good players left that we'll see signed this time next year or back in that December signing period come, this fall. But, a good crop here of Brunswick High School Pirates. You mentioned the Merriweather kid. There was a delay in the University of Georgia announcing his signing. Don't want to get too caught up in that, but he really had already signed. Sean, as you know, Georgia has a process, I think, to keep it simple, where they don't really announce their kids until they're admitted into the school and whatnot. And if you remember, he flipped from University of Central Florida to Georgia, fairly late in the game before, that early signing period. So some of the paperwork got stalled and whatnot. So Georgia basically just waited until this time to make him official. But he is now officially a Georgia Bulldog for all of those Bulldog fans out there. But again, some good football players in this mix. And I think one thing you see here with Brunswick is what you see a lot of times with some of these smaller schools on smaller recruiting budgets. They go into a school like Brunswick and a school like Shorter. They come away with 2 or 3 guys. Reinhardt University, same thing. They know Brunswick stocked with talent. They get with Coach Grady or some of their assistant coaches and talk about their guys, and they'll take more than one, and they'll sign them just in one fell swoop. So you see some repeat schools there at Brunswick High. We'll see this later on down the line as well. But again, a lot of good football players left on that Brunswick team, so they'll be signing a half a dozen or more again next year.
Exactly. And now we're going to drop down to Single A. Clinch County had only one signee. Danny Fountain's going to go to Peru State, which is out in Nebraska. So we'll keep an eye on Danny Fountain and see how he fares out there in the cold plains of Nebraska. People don't understand how cold it is in Nebraska, but it is definitely cold. Then we get back up into 7A. Camden County had another big crop again this year, but it's something you always expect from Camden. Jake Lindsay going to West Point, going to be in the Army. Tyre Young, Troy State, Sage Roach, Point University, Cameron Hopkins, Norfolk State, Quan Floyd, Georgia Military, and Xavier Holzendorf, Georgia Military. They're there again, Kevin. A couple of kids going to the same school there from Camden County, but a great crop there for Camden County, and got a lot of good juniors. You'll see a lot of this next year from the Wildcats with Coach Jeff Herron in charge.
Yeah, of course, Jake Lindsay had already signed during an early signing period with West Point, but of course, Camden celebrates his signing along with their other guys here in this February period. Very customary under Jeff Herron to sign multiple guys. They do a good job of getting their kids in the spotlight. If the coaches don't find out about them, they make sure coaches find out about their players. Of course, they had that recruiting fair down there this year as well, back before the early signing period, I guess it was. And so, again, they do a good job of marketing their players. And, again, you can fly right into Jacksonville, make that trip to Camden County, and find you a lot of good football players if you're a smaller school looking to pick up a lot of guys on one quick trip here to South Georgia.
Exactly. And we'll move on right up the road there to Folkestone, back into Single A. Charlton County had Jalen King's going to sign with Gardner Webb to go up there and play football. But that was the only kid from Charlton that signed. Charlton's got a lot of underclass talent that's going to be signing some big time scholarships here in the next couple of years. So we'll definitely keep an eye on them. Moving on back up to 5A, Coffee County with another great season, Kevin, under new head coach Mike Coe. Mike had his opportunity to put a lot of kids to play on Saturday here and got a really, really good list. Antoine McDuffie, their big running back, Highlands Community College. Billy Simpson is going to be going to Greenville University. B.J. Reed also going to Highlands Community College. Mason Roberts, Valdosta State. Dane Reich at Reinhardt. And then Jackson Banks is going to play at Mississippi Gulf Coast. So the Coffee County Trojans had a great season, made it all the way, I think, into the Elite Eight or something like that. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids that they're going to get signed that are going to go play on Saturday.
No surprise there. They have a good crop as well. You heard about Valdosta State in that mix. There are some junior colleges in that mix. And those Mississippi junior colleges are good. Georgia Military, that has already been mentioned tonight, is good in the past. You can get from the JUCO level to the D1 level, particularly if you go through schools like that. So these athletes that you're hearing going to the JUCO level, that's not just a notch above high school football. And a lot of times there's some big-time JUCO football out there, and there very well could be a case, a year or even 2 years from now, depending on what the circumstances are. These kids are signing again to go to a higher level of football after their time is done here at these JUCO schools.
Exactly. Well, hey, that's our first 6 schools. We got 6 more to talk about after the break, so y'all stick around, and we'll be right back here with more On Air with 912 Sports right after these messages.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robinson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic, Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Welcome back, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. We're talking a little high school recruiting here tonight. We've already done 6 schools. We got 6 more to go through, but Kevin, let's stay up there in that 6A classification. Effingham. This is one of those we talked a little bit about in the first segment. You wait till the 11th hour to find out where a kid's going. This kind of had a little bit of drama to it because it was not announced where Keon Wallace was going to go play his college football. But at the 11th hour, he did make a decision, and he's going to play for the Georgia Southern Eagles. So just going to go right down the road there from from Effingham to Statesboro, but he'll be playing his football there at Statesboro, and it'll be interesting to see how they use him once he gets there. But also had Tim Brown from Effingham signed another college scholarship to go to West Point, so another young man is going to go serve his country. He's going to play football for 4 years and then go into the Army. So Timmy Brown, we appreciate your service there, buddy. But Kevin, getting back to Wallace, it'll be interesting to see because he was that hybrid tight end, wide receiver, could play a little bit of defense. Where do you think he's going to fit in that college game?
Well, he should have a lot of fun in that offense. I mean, he's like 6'3", 215, so he's a big target there for Coach Helton. And, they like to throw it around under Coach Helton, who brought that West Coast offense, if you will, out from Southern Cal to Georgia Southern this past year. And they lit up some scoreboards at times and were ineffective at times, but then scored a lot of points at times. So they were in some shootouts at Georgia Southern. So, I mean, I'm sure that was attractive to Keon. He's a big target in the passing game. They can get it to him in space and let him make plays, and I've seen him make them on both the football field and the basketball court. So he's a good-looking, big athlete who should have a lot of upside there at Georgia Southern.
Yeah, gonna be fun to follow his career, but going to stay there in 6A. Going to move down the road there to Glenn Academy. Another young man who's going to serve his country, going to the Naval Academy. That's David Stanfield. So congratulations to David. Going to go as a long snapper, something you don't always hear, but we do appreciate your service there, David. And then also Cody Arnold, the big punter with the big powerful leg there for the Glenn Academy Red Terrors, going to be playing his college ball at Mercer. So 2 quality young men going to go play at the college level there for the Glenn Academy Red Terrors.
Yeah, 2 good kids who have meant a lot to that Glenn Academy program on special teams for sure. Obviously, those 2 guys work together a lot there at Glenn Academy the past several years, and kind of interesting to see them sign together as the only 2 kids who signed during this National Signing Day period right here in early February. But speaking of Stanfield, he's the opposite of Keon Wallace now. Keon's one of the bigger guys. Stanfield, one of the smaller guys signing, but he specialized in long snapping, and he's good at it. Don't need to get in detail there. We had a story on him in one of our earlier magazines this fall. You can, Google him and see what comes up. But he's really good at his craft, particularly to be a small guy. Really good athlete, but he specializes in long snapping, and look where it's got him to a chance to play college football at a great school that goes to a lot of great places to play, South Bend and whatnot. And obviously, he's going to get a great education. And then Cody Arnold, there was some mystery about where he might go, right up until the last. The offer started rolling in, certainly in the offseason. And he kind of was like Jack Podlesny, I think. Podlesny, of course, from our area here at Glenn Academy as well. Of course, ended up kicking for the 2-time national champion Georgia Bulldogs here back-to-back. Probably going to get drafted, but he got that preferred walk-on to UGA. And I think there was some chance that Cody Arnold might have a similar thing, maybe even to UGA, but he gets this Mercer offer and he jumps on it. And that's a really good school, not too far from home. And they've had some good football at times. They've been down here recently, but hopefully they're on their way back. So it'll be good to see him stay in state. One note on Glenn Academy, I was talking to Coach Rock later. I guess it was the day after signing day. I went over there to meet Coach Welburn at Glenn Academy, the baseball coach. We'll talk about him here later on in a minute. But Coach Rock was there, and they have about 6 or 7 other guys that they're working on. Just because you don't sign on February, whatever it was, the actual early signing day or the national signing day, that's really just the first day that you can do it in this second period. So you'll see some more late Glenn signees. As a matter of fact, I think somebody signed on the dotted line last Thursday, but they're going to wait until they get maybe the rest of these guys lined up and then have another ceremony. So we'll see some more Red Terrors signed here in the upcoming days and weeks.
Exactly. Well, let's move on down to 4A. We're going to go over and check out the New Hampstead Phoenix and see what they were able to sign on signing day. Paulie Seeley, their big quarterback, had a great senior season. Is going to go to Wofford College. Elijah Lacey is going to go to Georgia Southern. Zion Griffin's going to go to Stetson University, a great school down in DeLand, Florida. Elijah Walker going to be going to Shorter University. That's 3 kids that we got so far going to go to Shorter. And then John Dre Kinsey is going to go to Springfield College in Massachusetts, along with Christian Johnson. They're going as a pair there to Springfield College up in Massachusetts. But Coach Kyle Hockman had a great season this year. With his Phoenix there. And let's see, that's 6 guys that are going to go on to play on Saturday there. So congratulations to all those young men.
Yeah, good crop of kids there. And, of course, they've got a good program there at New Hampstead. Coach Hockman, of course, came here from McEachern. So, a lot of recruiters went through there. I'm sure he established some good relationships in his time there. And, those relationships don't change just because he changed schools. I mean, they'll still call him. They know he can produce good football players, particularly on that offensive side of the ball, and not surprised to see his quarterback go to a decent school there here in the South. Again, another good education there at Wofford and a chance to play some good football.
Exactly. And then move on down back to AA, Pierce County. Pierce County had 4 young men sign there on signing day. Jonah Allen's going to be going to Valdosta State. Jaquez White is going to be going to Washburn. DJ Bell is going to follow Jaquez White over to Washburn. They're going to be a duo there. And then also Jamario Guyton is going to be going to Independence. I think that's our second kid that's committed to go play Independence, to play at Independence here. But one of the things that Coach Herron pointed out was he made the comment that he felt like all 4 of his guys were D1 caliber guys. They just didn't get the opportunity, and he thought a lot of that has to do with the portal. And here's some of the words that he had to say about the portal and its effect on high school recruiting.
College coaches coming in. I mean, usually you can't even hardly have your class because so many guys come in. You got to talk to them about your kids. I think this year we had 4 guys come in. 4 colleges came in. So it's a whole different world now, and it's with the portal as it is now, it's not better. It's not good for high school kids, and just from everybody I've talked to, it's going to last probably at least 2 more years.
But I think Coach Herron makes some good points here, Kevin. He really, I mean, we've known DJ Bell. This kid's a 4-time All-State player. He holds every record that has ever been set from a running back / quarterback position at Pierce County. And he's sitting there, not with D1 offers. And I think when, these college coaches are faced with, okay, I can go get a 5th-year senior that's been on a college campus that's stronger, that's faster, that's been on the meal, the nutrition plan and all that stuff. It makes them hard for them to justify recruiting, high school kids.
Yeah, that transfer portal was something else. I mean, just at the college level alone, kids going from one school to the other and what that means there, really don't have to sit out anymore like you used to. But it certainly has impacted high school recruiting. You need a lot of these. We could talk for days about the transfer portal. I'm sure Coach Herron could have too, but probably just didn't hold the signing day ceremony up too much there, which is probably a good thing for Pierce. But it's impacted high school recruiting as well, because some of these programs, just to put it simply, that maybe need a quick fix at whatever position, they know they can get a proven guy who's already done it at the college level. You flip on the tape, you see who he's gone against, you see some of the teams he's gone against, and he can get it done. And for whatever reason, wanted to transfer, you have to factor all that in to make sure he's still a good fit for your program. Make sure he's maybe not the problem. Just the mix between him and his school. But obviously a lot of kids, because of that, are going to smaller schools. That's benefiting the smaller colleges for sure. Yeah. They're getting a lot of really good players at that level, and you might see some of these programs that have kind of been on the brink of success getting some of these guys that have trickled down to them, and all of a sudden they're going to take off. So they kind of maybe like the portal. But I know high school coaches have had several challenges in recent years, COVID being one. Now this portal has really changed the game in high school recruiting. And, DJ Bell, all you have to do is flip on the tape with him and see that the kid's an athlete. He can run, and he can make, moves with the ball in his hands, big-time playmaker, dynamite waiting to explode. And I know this, Washburn's probably going to put his athletic talents to use. They'd be crazy not to. But, we'll see what they do. But I know Coach Herron obviously probably got on the soapbox there as he could. And I'm sure he could have said a lot more than we just heard him say. But that transfer portal is the real deal, and we're all navigating it and dealing with it.
Yep, and like I said, I don't think it's going away for the next couple of years. Unfortunately, we'll see how it keeps affecting it. But let's move on. We got to go back up to 6A. South Effingham. Justin Martell is going to be signed with Concord University up in West Virginia. So congratulations to Justin. Justin had a big, I think he was one of the MVPs for that big border war game between Georgia and South Carolina. They held kind of an all-star game here, back in December, early January. So congratulations to Justin Martell. And then that leaves us with our state champion, the Ware County Gators. The Ware County Gators had Jarvis Hayes, who signed back in December. He's already at Western Kentucky. So even though he was a part of the signing ceremony, he wasn't there because he's already on campus. But we had Trey Hargrave go to Kennesaw State, going to get a chance to play with his brother, Michael Mincy, there. LJ Hall's going to Army, another West Point signing. I believe that puts us at 3 from West Point here, Kevin. That's pretty impressive for our area there. Zach Watson's going to be going to Western Carolina. Cameron Gonzalez going to go to Reinhardt. Brandon Washington is going to go to Point University. So a lot of good Gators going to go on and play it Saturday. Coach had a chance to say a few words at the signing there. Talking a little bit about this class, Kevin, because they all came in together. They're all their fourth year, Coach Strickland's fourth year. And here's some of the words that he had to say about those guys up on the stage there.
What we're fortunate of is that you were such great teammates that when those moments took place, you all showed how much you cared about each other. And I think this whole community knows how much you guys loved each other. You showed it every Friday night. But more so than that, when the community didn't see it at practice and in the weight room, how much you held each other accountable and how much you were willing to be held accountable. You guys are truly resilient. And I can't say thank you enough.
But Kevin, just a magical season there for the Gators this past 22 season here, going 15-0, winning a state championship, beating a dominant program like Warner Robins to win that state championship. And oh, by the way, you get a chance to send 6 guys and probably more. I think there's some more coming down the pike, just like you mentioned with Glenn Academy. There's going to be some other guys that sign here a little bit later on, and they'll have another ceremony for them. But congratulations to all these kids and to all the Gators for a fantastic season there in 22.
Yeah, well, good mix of kids here at a variety of positions, going to a variety of schools. And again, Ware County, the proof's in the pudding. You can go there as a smaller school and probably pick out several guys as long as you have the space for them that would fit your needs, at any position on the football field. And obviously, this signing day ceremony was not only a chance to maybe celebrate that team state championship once again, but really more so what these guys meant to that success. Individually and as a group. Like you said, this was a group that came in with Coach Strickland. They got it done in their final year and went out in style, couldn't go out in any better fashion. And I know Trey Hargrove, I guess we were wondering where he was headed. And, anybody that saw him play at any time throughout the season, particularly there in the playoffs, may have been intrigued by him. And I know Rusty Manziel, I think one of the big recruiting guys who works out of the state of Georgia, I think he did that game. If I'm not mistaken, the 5A championship game. But I've seen him on Twitter several times singing the praises of Trey Hargrove, since that state championship game. But obviously, Kennesaw with a good program on the smaller level. He won't be too far from home. I know that was attractive to Trey himself, and no question they're getting a good one. But a lot of good guys in that mix. Like I said, military guy, again, that's great to see. And one of their guys is already gone, early enrolled. So an attractive crop of players there. Not surprised that Ware County turns out a big group. And like you said, there'll be more.
Exactly. Well, that's going to wrap up our recruiting segment. But, hey, stick around. We're going to talk a little bit about baseball right after these messages. Appreciate everybody watching On Air with 912 Sports. We'll be right back here after these words.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kevin Price for On Air with 912 Sports. I'm out at Adam Wainwright Field in Brunswick, Georgia. The Wayno, as they call this place, is the home of the Glen Academy Red Terrors baseball team. The Red Terrors getting set for the 2023 season, which actually opens tonight for Glen Academy against Ware County, another 912 area team. You can actually listen to that game by going to our broadcast link on 912sports.net, picking up the Ware County broadcast of that game. But earlier today, I was over at Glen Academy talking to GA head baseball coach John Welborn about his 2023 Red Terror team. Here's that interview. All right, so I'm here with Glen Academy head baseball coach John Welborn, and of course, he's the head coach of the Red Terrors. And coach, obviously you're getting set for another new season. I know that's always exciting for you and the players and the fans that follow the program, but you're getting ready to start today, actually, playing Ware County as we speak and air this interview. But on the eve of a season or a couple of days before, do you start to get a little bit nervous? Did we cover this? Did we cover that? I mean, talk about what you go through as a coach getting ready for a new season.
I don't feel like nervous about did we cover this or cover that. We've spent a lot of times, and I have a lot of quality coaches, and we put together a good plan. And, just like our mantra last year and moving forward too is playing fast, playing hard, playing loose. We've put our program together so that it allows our kids to do those things.
Well, Coach, kind of talk about that. I mean, obviously you were associated with the program before becoming the head coach last year, but obviously Coach Magero did a good job here. He took you guys to the Elite Eight of the state tournament and then decided to retire, and then you became the head coach early in that off season. But how was the transition from you to him? And I guess obviously things must have went pretty well because you guys ended up making another good run in the region and also made it to the second round of the playoffs last year before falling to Buford, which is always a good team.
Yeah, we also tied the school record for wins. So, but no, it was a pretty smooth transition. Coach Mongero gave me a lot of responsibilities leading up to last year, which really helped me be groomed for the role. So, I can't thank him enough for that.
Well, Coach, talk about this year. I mean, obviously you lost some good players from last year's team. Tom Eccles comes to mind. Obviously, he was our big school player of the year in Southeast Georgia. Of course, did a great job pitching for you, but also did a good job with the bat. And you lost several other guys from that senior class as well. But as we look at the lineup and look at the kids you have coming back, obviously a lot of talent still left on this club. So I'm pretty sure you're excited about the chances to repeat last year and make another good push at the region and make another good run in state.
Yeah, I'm excited about this team. I think we can do a lot of great things. For the past 2 seasons, we've ended up a game shy of being the region champ. So second place 2 years in a row, and we kind of all got together and decided that our mantra this year was going to be do something different. So that's been every aspect of how we practice, how we lift, our nutrition, our sleep, all of those things, to really get over the hump and, try to bring home a region championship. And I think these guys have what it takes. If we continue to do the things that we're coached to do, we'll have a chance to accomplish that.
Well, Coach, let's obviously, I guess, kind of talk about the team. And I guess, a lot of people would say it all starts with pitching. Obviously, you lost Eccles on the mound, but I know you have several arms back that are going to contribute this year. So as we kind of break down the team, talk about your pitching staff.
Well, the guys from last night, Hugh Edgy started. He did a phenomenal job. Really challenged Pierce at the plate. Carson Rotola, sophomore lefty, he came in and did some good things, and I know he has a bright future. Luke Barch, the Alaskan assassin, as you call him, he came in, and he's Barch. He's going to do what he does, and you can always count on him. Also, we got some guys who have some potential to really help us out. Obviously, Trent Tankersley, he's another one that you can see in the starter role. Grayson Gegg has a live arm. Gus Gandy is another one that can run it up there and has shown some good things in inter squads that I'm excited to see.
And then, Coach, when you look at the defense that will be behind them, I know obviously you got Tyler Devlin in the outfield. He's been a mainstay. This is going to be his last year for you. Kid with a chance to play college football and maybe college baseball as well at the same time. He was the quarterback on the football team, so people may recognize his name from there. But that's in your outfield. I know you got a pretty good defense. Gandy's going to be back. He was started at shortstop the last 2 years for you. Hard to believe he's still just a junior. But talk about just the defense you're going to have behind your pitchers.
Yeah, so like you said, Devlin, anytime the ball's in the outfield, I know he's going to go catch it. He's one of the best outfielders that I've had the opportunity to coach. Out there, too, you got people like Grayson Gegg. He can go get the ball. He has a phenomenal arm. The freshman Wesley Robertson, he's a guy who can play some outfield, can play some middle infield, which helps us if Gus goes into pitch. Brandon Casper, he's a senior stepping up. He's had a tremendous, preseason, so we say. Trent Tankersley at third base, he's a brick wall, knocks everything down, and he's just an absolute gamer. You can see it when the lights cut on that he's a little bit different than everybody else. And then Hank Noonan, he's one of the best all-around ball players that I've had the ability to coach, and he's a team-first guy. Right now, we got him at first base, just because based on the pieces, him going there allows us to do some other things. And he was like, wherever you need me, that's where I'll be. So that's who Hank is. He's just an all-around good player.
And I think he's played outfield, played some other infield spots for you that you didn't even mention. So kind of maybe Mr. Versatility on this team. But Coach, I know some of those guys that you mentioned right there, and some other guys swing the bat well as well. I know talking to you before we actually started this interview, you felt pretty good offensively, because I think maybe you said one of my comments might be I feel good about us scoring runs. So maybe I took the words right out of your mouth. You had to come up with something different. But just talk about this team offensively.
Yeah, they've really bought into what we've been preaching, and Coach Sandlin's done a phenomenal job with the hitters. And last night after playing Pierce, their coach, he talked about our two-strike approach, how we were tough outs, and that's one thing that we've prided ourselves on. Is it's kind of cheesy, but we say red tear is our tough out, so RTATO. And we were just gritty at the plate, and that's who we're going to be all year. So we're going to compete, and if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to beat us.
And Coach, we'll talk about that scrimmage and talk certainly about the region. Then I want to ask you about the baseball at the beach tournament. But I saw that score, 14-1 over Pierce, and I'm like, did they have no special teams or something? No. You know how these football scrimmages are sometimes. But it sounds like you guys were impressive right out of the gate.
That Pierce is a quality team. They're going to compete, and they're going to win games in their classification. Last night, the ball just kind of bounced our way. Like I said, we were competitive at the plate, and we got in several two-strike counts where we just put the ball in play, and we can run a good bit. We're pretty fast, so some of those balls that were hit softly on the infield, we beat out. And at the high school level, to win a lot of games and to beat teams that you shouldn't beat, you got to be able to put the ball in play, limit the amount of strikeouts, and make the other team play the game of baseball.
And Coach, speaking of other teams, obviously this region's been a good baseball region in the past. Some of the same Southeast Georgia schools are in there, the 912 schools, if you will, Glen Academy, Brunswick, South Effingham, and Effingham. But Richmond Hill's gone to a higher classification. Statesboro also has moved into a different classification, Bradwell as well. So those three teams are gone, but you've added the Augusta area schools, Grovetown, Evans, and Lakeside Evans. And I would assume you're going to tell me that even though we lost some good teams, we picked up some good teams. The teams that from Southeast Georgia that are still here are good clubs. So I would think that this is going to be a competitive region, but certainly one that you feel like you can win with the team you have.
Honestly, I think that anybody in this region can win the region. I think that, everyone is pretty similar, and, kind of blue collar in the sense that how they approach the game. Evans on paper is one of the better teams. I talked to the Pope coach the other night, and they won the state championship last year, and he told me that Evans was the best team they played all year, which is, a testament. They beat Buford, they beat Altoona in the championship. So they played some good teams. Greg always does a great job over there at Brunswick. I think a lot of him. Coach Ramsey at Effingham, he's won a state title, and he's going to do what he does, and he does a good job getting his guys motivated and ready to play. Over at South Effingham, they got a new coach, the pitching coach, Jesse Osborne, and I know the kids really like him, and they have some talent, they have some pieces. So I'm interested to see how they gel, with him, and I think that they're going to put together a really solid squad. And then the other two Augusta schools, Lakeside, they lost some players from last year's team. They went pretty deep, but their coach does a good job. And then at Grovetown, Travis Lee, we grew up together. We played travel ball together, and he does a good job. He played at Georgia State, and he'll have his guys ready to play as well.
And Coach, real quick, I asked Coach Roberts this, and I know you and I had a conversation back, I think even before Thanksgiving. GHSA changed the schedule on you guys after y'all already had your schedule set. That is what it is. I think the idea was to get the season over a little bit earlier, to get to the playoffs earlier, and I think that was just to have maybe more championship games, state championship games at Truist Park, where the Braves play. But our region decided to keep the same region schedule because there's other variables there with the Augusta schools, spring break, the Masters. They did allow y'all to kind of move some things around. Talk about the way it impacted you and the Glenn Academy Red Terriers with this earlier start.
It doesn't affect us in the sense of, we'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. We don't really care. And that's kind of what, the last series was supposed to be us and Brunswick. And, from a standpoint of us two hoping to make the playoffs, we didn't feel comfortable rolling out there playing 7 or 8 games in 7 days. So it just wasn't good for our arms. So, we talked about it, and I told him, we'll play you off rip at the very beginning of the year. We can play in the middle. Whatever you want to do, that's what we'll do. And we came to an agreement of just moving it to the front. That way we both are kind of, getting primed and ready to play. And, I kind of wish that everybody was on the same page as of what we were doing. Some guys are playing 2 games here, 1 at the end, or 1 early, 2 late. But it is what it is. We kind of, we're handcuffed, and, we're just making the best of the situation.
And Coach, before we go, obviously one of the bigger things in the early part of the season is that baseball at the beach tournament. Started maybe when you were still in diapers. No, just kidding. But might be pretty close, really. But Coach, obviously Coach Fair, who was the longtime coach here at Glenn, got that started along with Coach Jimmy Brown over at Brunswick. It's just kind of blossomed. It's just kind of grown. Like Coach Roberts told me, y'all could probably play this 3 or 4 weekends if you wanted to, but it is up to 2. It's wall-to-wall baseball over the course of 2 days, each of those 2 weekends. For people that don't know, maybe it's basically the idea is South Georgia team, certainly Glenn and Brunswick here in Glenn County against Metro Atlanta area team. So it gives all you guys a chance to play different competition, kind of has a playoff feel to it at times. But just talk about how awesome that is to have great baseball here for a high school baseball fan, a coach, a player, and then with the great facilities that we have here in Glenn County, really a good weekend, 2 good weekends of baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. All the teams enjoy coming down here. The coaches love it. It's kind of like, just getting away and just focusing on baseball. And the weather is generally pretty good. Especially compared to the Atlanta area where it's cold. I've talked to coaches. They've been on the field like 2 times the whole year because it's been raining every day up there. And, we've been out here and it's been sunny and 70. And but, yeah, it's just a great atmosphere, a lot of great teams. And, you learn a lot. A lot of teams some coaches will focus on, just their wins. And, I think me and Greg Brunswick are very similar in this aspect of let's schedule these harder teams now so that we can grow and become a better team at the end. So we're not focused on the wins and losses right now. We're focused on the end result.
Hey, I guess I do have one more question for you. I pay attention to Facebook maybe about as much as you do, and that might be a lot. But earlier today, I think you posted a picture of you and your son, Baker, who was actually born last year during your first round playoff series. So I guess that preseason scrimmage you had against Pierce was maybe the first game he's seen with his own eyes, unless he's seen some other practices or whatnot. How do you enjoy his first experience at the Wayno?
Man, he loved it. He sat there pretty much the entire game. I think he really enjoys offense, so he was enjoying the game.
No different than anybody else,
That's
right? All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate your time, and we'll see you out at the ballpark here pretty soon.
I appreciate it. Go Terrors.
All right, so there you have it, the rundown of Glenn Academy and the outlook for the Red Terrors here in the 2023 season, which is now upon us. Again, Glenn Academy opening the season tonight right here at the Wayno against the Ware County Gators. You can listen to the Ware County home broadcast of that game on our website by going to the broadcast link on 912sports.net. Now, we will follow Glenn Academy and Brunswick High School, both baseball teams here in Glenn County, throughout the 2023 season, as usual, on our Golden Isles baseball broadcasting platform, which again is on 912sports.net. We'll have the Glenn Academy Red Terrors and the Brunswick High School Pirates select games throughout the 2023 season, airing right there on 912sports.net. The schedule will be on the website. We'll also post the links to the games on social media throughout the season. So follow the Red Terrors and the Pirates right here on 912 Sports throughout the spring. For On Air with 912 Sports, I'm Kevin Price from the Wayno.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robinson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.